And this is going to be team, I just said it,
12.
12, Philadelphia Resource Network.
So like Jeff just said, we're Team 12, the Philadelphia Resource Network. My name's Sarah. This is Gus, Burkhart, and David. We were lucky enough to work with Professor Rakesh Voira on this project. So essentially, we're trying to fill an information gap between free community resources and the people who need them. Take food insecurity, for example. About 22% of Philadelphians are food insecure, despite the availability of well over 100 free resources throughout the city. This is obviously a big problem, and we hope to solve it. A lot of times people turn to community centers like UConnect, which was our partner organization for this project, where people can work individually with volunteers to help them figure out the best resource for them. So one that's close to their house, that accepts whether or not they have an ID, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, the time and money it takes to get to centers like UConnect is yet another barrier, another hurdle for people who need these resources. So we aim to solve that problem with what we've put together. So I'm going to pass it over to David, who will talk more specifically about our objectives.
So we had a number of objectives with our project, and the first ones were to just make something that would be user-friendly. As it is, UConnect already helps a lot of people in the Philadelphia, West Philly community with finding resources that best fit their needs. But to do so, they have the clients come in, meet with them for a few minutes, walk through a pretty extensive Word document, and the whole process is pretty not user-friendly. So our aim was to make a user-friendly web application that would let users easily search for resources that would most benefit them, and do so in a way that would be beneficial to them. So they should be able to do so quickly and input information that will be particular to them. So some resources aren't available to those who are men, or perhaps single mothers who have children, or are of a particular religious background. There's a lot of different criteria that may not be intuitive to those who actually need the resources. Furthermore, we chose to make a web application because it's accessible to a lot of people in Philadelphia. Those who are food insecure can already access web applications via public libraries, or they can just go to UConnect or other community centers in the city to access our website or others. So one of our main objectives was, one, it's not too difficult to create an application that's accessible to others, but we wanted to also be easily updatable by those who are running UConnect. So UConnect, they have several employees who their full job is just to maintain resources and make sure that they're up to date so that they don't tell those in need unreliable or out-of-date information. So we created an admin interface that would let admins update information when it changed, add new resources, and in general keep things the way that they should be. We wanted to make the entire application mobile friendly so that administrators at UConnect could use the application on their phone, and also those who were actually in need could also use the application on their phone. Finally, we used a few search algorithms to improve how users found the data that they were looking for. So with a lengthy Word doc, it's ultimately just like a Control F, or having the intuition to know that particular resources about legal counsel or healthcare might be found on let's say page 170. But in this case, we used algorithms like TF-IDF and others to determine what resources would be most relevant to what users were actually looking for. I'll pass it over to Burkhart.
So just a little bit about us as a team. So we're an interdisciplinary team. Sarah is a systems engineer, Gus and David are computer engineers, and I'm studying computer science. So we wanted to really bring together all the things we've learned in our Penn career so far and put them to work with this project. So Sarah really helped, she already had a connection with UConnect, so she set up that partner organization for us. And then just in terms of planning the application, in terms of what to optimize, what to prioritize, a lot of systems engineering principles came in handy. And then building out the web app, we definitely used a lot of stuff that we've learned at Penn to really make sure that the design works, that it's user-friendly, it's easy to update, very maintainable. So a lot of things we've learned in classes, both technical and relating to design or user interfaces were helpful for this project. So a little bit more about the design of this web app. We went through a few iterations with this design. So when we started out, we looked at some sample data that we were given from UConnect and tried to make a schema that would really incorporate that data. So we started off with a standard MySQL database with rigid rows and columns. So what that ended up working fine for some of the data, but as we kept adding more and more information and increasing the reach of the site to beyond just food resources, we discovered that a lot of the data wasn't in the same format. So, for example, places might have restrictions that we hadn't accounted for before. The hours might not be in a consistent schedule. Every different resource that we try to accommodate has different requirements. So we ended up opting for a more flexible approach with MongoDB, and that's easier to integrate with the web as well. In terms of the rest of the structure of the app, we went with Python, specifically the Flask web framework, because it had a lot of packages that were easy to use, that really helped us layer additional functionality onto our app as we kept iterating and developing. And we used Bootstrap for style and mobile design. We tried to use existing free open source technologies to make development easier and more maintainable for the future. So the main, points of our design this semester that we focused on were just making it mobile friendly, easy to use for somebody who is an admin on this website so that they can edit, add, delete the information easily, but also for just any Philadelphian who wants to use this website, they should be able to easily figure out how to search, how to find stuff, and how everything works. For the map, we display the resources on a map. We're using Leaflet, which is an open source map API, and then our backend connects with the Google Maps API for additional information like distance to that resource from where you are, or the cost it takes to get there using public transit, and just tied all that together with Python and then HTML, JavaScript, CSS on the front end. So now I'll pass it on to Gus for some logistics.
So there's a couple more considerations that we needed to deal with in our app. So there is the option in our app to put in people's addresses, and that helps using the Google Maps API to figure out like separate kinds of tasks and stuff like that. But we don't actually want people to feel nervous about us storing data, so we never store anything. That's a bit obvious. We maintain the anonymity of our users. And then another important thing is that we actually want this app to be used and to last. And so this whole time we've been talking to Uconnect, and when we finished our first iteration of our app, we went to Uconnect and said, this is what we have, what do you think about it, what do you think we should add, what do you think we should change, and that was really helpful, and we want to continue doing that. And then lastly, quickly the budget, it's extremely cheap to run, like yearly run a website that can help so many people. So, thank you.
Thank you all so much.